The Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG is one of the most expensive card games to play, but with websites like Nikijo Collectibles, Cherry Collectibles, and Australian Yu-Gi-Oh! Auctions, most of the cards you need are only one mouse click away. But what would happen if these sites just disappeared and we were left to source our cards only from sealed product? Rather than relying on these sites, we'd be relying on nothing more than the luck to pull the cards we need to complete our already bullshit expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. Over the coming weeks and months, starting with nothing more than 3 structure decks and a budget of $60 a week, I am going to build a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck with the goal of reaching the Oceanic World Championship qualifying event. Stick around to see me waste hundreds of dollars, open a ton of sealed product, and hopefully kick a few butts along the way. This is sealed only Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shaddoll Showdown. It is week 10 and we are here for another sealed only opening. I said last week that I'd be hopefully able to extend the budget a little bit further to open up something a bit more special, but after crunching the numbers, I'm not quite happy with the amount that we have in the bank to open up something a bit bigger. I want to stick to under $60 again this week to once again give us a little bit more, so hopefully maybe by episode 15 it'll be somewhere around that $85 to $90 mark. I may have to make some sacrifices over the coming weeks to get that number up there, but fingers crossed we'll get there in the end. With that being said, it's a very similar opening to last week. We have 3 packs of Clash of Rebellion coming in at a total of $12 and another $45 box of Dual Overload. We are hunting down clowns and anacondas. I'm not going to keep you waiting for too long. I'm going to crack straight into this and hopefully there is a snake in the bushes. Last week we saw the Stardust Dragon. What card are we going to see this week? Oh, it's another Stardust. Alright. Is it an omen? Who knows? Remember, if this is your first time tuning in, go and check out some of the other episodes. You'll find out that we've got really bad luck with Dual Overload. If you're not hitting that like button and you actually want us to open this stuff because we can't get a snake, well, so be it. I can't force you to hit that button, but remember, the more you hit that like button, the more luck you're giving me. We're going to start with our Clash of Rebellions pack, just like last week. Remember, we're hunting down clowns. Alright, we have a copy of Kyoto Waterfront, a Balance of Judgment, a Pianissimo, a Performage Trick Clown, that is not the clown that we want, Crystal Rose, Cosmo Goodwitch, Performer Pal, Salu Tiger, and Side Effects. Boom! Damage Juggler. That is 1 card down. Thank you very much. We have 1 card checked off the list for this opening. Looks like a good omen. We are off to a cracker of a start. Alright, here we go. Our first pack of Dual Overload. We have a Cubic Ascension. Remember, all of these cards are ultra rare. Another copy of Stromberg to go with the one we pulled last week. A Protector Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. A Zombie World, and our final card. It's blue. It's a Link 2. And it is a 4th copy of Union Carrier. What the hell? I got so excited there. I thought we might have been actually going to get a little bit lucky. Unfortunately not. Let's go with the Cyber Dragon Infinity one. Put the good card to the back. We have a Malefic Paradox Gear, a Vanity's Ruler, a Malefic Territory, Ferocious Flame Swordsman. It's green. It is a Signet Mining. Wow, that's pretty good. It's not a Verte Anaconda, but it is a Signet Mining. Okay, Clash of Rebellions. I think all we need now is the rare XYZ, which will be a Performage, what is it, a Performage Trapeze Magician, and a Hat Tricker. I'll be happy with that. A 3rd Damage Juggler might come in handy. let's just make sure we don't give away all the good stuff. We'll put the 3 to the front. So we have a Retaliating Sea. Hey, there's our Hat Tricker. We are hitting all of the stuff that we need from Clash of Rebellion this week. Let's put that down here with the Damage Juggler. Fingers crossed, the luck just keeps pouring in. With Balance of Judgment, Mystery Shell Dragon, Trick Box, Dragon, and Backup Rider. Let that focus again for you guys. Sorry about that. Alright, so we have a Damage Juggler and we have a Hat Tricker. We have the commons that we've been looking for. Can we extend that even further? We need to get this Anaconda. Good card to the back. We have Quadman, Herald of Mirage Lights. This pack is looking very ominous, guys. Hit the like button, give me the luck. A What Giraffe. It is a Link to. It is an Ib World Key Blade Master. It's not an expensive card. It is a good card. It's got some really funky arrows and I don't know if we'll be able to use it, but we'll have a read of it later on and we'll see. So far we've actually got pretty good pulls here. We've got a copy of Signet Mining, a copy of Union Carrier and Lib. That's pretty good out of this. We're going to go with our Anima. Good card. To the back. We have the DDD King Gilgamesh. Another copy of MST. Another copy of Malefic Selector, an Ojama Emperor. It's a Link 2. Oh, it's a Bajinki Ahashima. We are getting trolled so hard with these Link 2, guys. We are getting trolled so hard. Alright, we have our final pack of Clash of Rebellion. I'm getting into this. I've seen so many good cards today that we're actually using in the deck. We just need that rare copy of Performage Trapeze Magician. Let's get that camera to focus a little bit better. There we go. Oh, wait, we have to do our 3 to the front. Sorry. Here we go. Ferret Flames, Performer Pal Salutiger, Ignite Paladin, Raid Raptor Return, Opera the Melodious Diva. Oh, I can see something good there. Chicken Game. Do you remember, were you playing with this? Comment down below, did you ever play when Chicken Game was still in the game? I remember this card and it was so fun. Raid Raptor Singing Lanius, Ignite Lancer, and a Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon Super Rare. So we did not get our rank 4, but I am happy that we got our Hat Tricker and our Damage Juggler, as you can see down in the left hand side. We've got 2 packs of Dual Overload left. I'm excited. I've still got a good feeling. I know we're leaving it to the last minute, but I can feel something good in here. We have an Almirage for our first card. Ojama Emperor. Let's get that autofocus. Paradox Gear. Alien Shock Trooper. Let's check it out. It is an XYZ and it is a Choc a la mode. Not great. I'm not going to lie, that's not great. We have 1 pack left. I need you to hit that like button. I want all of the luck we need to pull this Anaconda. We need the Anaconda. So we have a Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. Herald of Mirage Lights, like our 10th copy. Speaking of 10th copy. Endless Judgment, and it looks like we have a spell card for our good card, and it is another copy of Awakening of the Possessed. Well, bittersweet this week, guys. We have pulled our final couple of pieces to the main deck Clown Engine. This is going to help us extend a little bit further into the deck. It's going to help us go into our Link 2s a little bit easier, and it's going to give us a little bit more defense as well. Unfortunately, though, instead of pulling our Anaconda, we managed to pull a Union Carrier, a Signet Mining, a Lib, a Bajinki Ahashima, a Madolce Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode, and an Awakening of the Possessed. we're going to go and play some Yu-Gi-Oh! But before we do that, I need to put a deck together. So stay tuned for the deck update. It might look a little different this week. We're going to find out. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you on the other side.
2 hours later.
Alright, we are here with the episode 10 deck update. There weren't too many changes, as you would have noticed from the pulls, but we have been able to make a few adjustments to the deck. Let's put our extra deck and side deck to the side and quickly run through our main. We are still running 3 copies of Squamata. I'm looking to probably cut one of these down just to reduce the fact that we're getting so many monsters in our hand. Double Wendi, just like we have been, as well as double Hedgehog and double Ariel. I don't really think I can change those ratios too much. 1 Beast, 1 Dragon to round out our Shaddoll engine. I do think this engine does need to be shrunk a little bit. We will find out in the future where that needs to be, but I am thinking a copy of Squamata will go. Our big Chaos Dragon Levianeer, I like this guy. He comes in clutch at times and he is quite easy to get on the field, and we can use 2 of the 3 effects. Blackwing Zephyros, the Elite, I am considering cutting him. We don't usually have that face-up card on the field that we want to pull back to our hand to actually get him from the graveyard, so I might need to find a different sort of extender to get him in. Our normal summon Mathmetician is still quite a good card. Destroyed by battle, it gives us a draw as well, so we will keep him in the deck. Our Wizard Buster Destruction Sword, I would prefer the Dragon Buster, but we are still working with Wizard and hopefully trying to pull off that combo. Into our light engine now, we are running 2 copies of Performage Trick Clown like we have been, but we are adding an extra copy of Damage Juggler to the deck this week, as well as the Performage Hat Tricker. We have upped our clown count from 3 to 5, and hopefully that will make some difference for us. We're now into our spell cards. Triple Shaddoll Fusion, Triple L Shaddoll Fusion, and Triple Super Polymerization. I can't really see myself changing this at all. I do know we are still hunting down that Verte Anaconda, but until we see that, I don't think we can drop our fusion count down to less than 9. Maybe even more in the future would be handy, but for now, we will be running this. Deck Lockdown is still in the deck at 2 copies. I am thinking about cutting this as well as the Zephyros to add a little bit more space to the deck. But for now, we will leave it in there for this week's tournament, and we'll see how we go. A copy of Foolish Burial to start our graveyard shenanigans, getting that Squamata in there nice and early, or if we've got that, putting a Trick Clown in there or a Damage Juggler to get us into our light engine nice and early. Into the traps now, we have 2 copies of Reeshaddall Incarnation. Self-explanatory. It gets us a monster back from the graveyard as well as banishes itself. Having those 2 effects is quite it is great to utilize that every now and again. 2 copies of Necro Fusion. Now I am hanging out for Rise of the Duelist to come out, because we are going to turn Necro Fusion into Shaddoll Rook. Much better card. It doesn't banish face down, so we will be able to then use the effect of Ariel a lot more consistently. We have put the copy of Core back in the deck. I keep flip-flopping whether or not I need this card in the deck or not. This week we've put it back in, and I think I'll probably leave it in there, mainly because not so much for the monster effect, it can become a monster effect, but for the fact that it can actually get us one of our spell cards back from the graveyard. The single copy of Dino-Miscus, a good card. Remember, it sends a card to the graveyard by card effect, so all of our Shaddoll effects will go off. Solemn Strike to give us that negate, and of course our compulsory evacuation device to round off our 40 card main deck. We didn't make too many changes, if any, add to the extra deck. We are still running our triple Construct, double Winder, double Apcalone, 1 Grista, 1 Shekanaga, and 1 Anoyatalis for our fusions. We are running a single copy of Almirage, Shaddoll Construct as another fusion card, the Bajinki Ahashima, and our Union Carrier for our Link monsters. We will be looking to add a bit more utility in our Link engine very, very soon, hopefully around that Anaconda. And 1 XYZ monster, we are playing the Digusto Emerald. Our side deck hasn't changed. We are playing the single copy of Zephyros to give us that hand trap negate effect. We are running some draw power in Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. We are running 4 Kaijus and a single copy of Kaiju Interrupted Slumber, 3 copies of Twin Twister, the 3rd copy of Reeshaddall Incarnation, which will come out in the following week. I just didn't have time to get it out. And of course, finishing off with our triple copies of Lost Wind. Lost Wind is a great card. I really like the way that it plays. But let's see how we go this week. Here is the profile. Don't forget to leave a comment down below with what you think of the profile, what we need to add, what we need to take away, what you would add and take away. And of course, I will see you on the other side of the duels.
It's time to duel!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the week 10 duels, and as you can see, first up we played against zombies. Now, I can't say that I was prepared to come up against such non-meta decks in this week's, but you'll see as the episode goes on the kind of decks that we came up against. But we didn't have too bad of a first turn here. We used that hat tricker straight away, pulling it this week, going into our link to being able to make the Digusto Emerald and getting a draw, giving us a set card, a construct, a set beast, and we were able to then super poly and go into our winder in our opponent's turn. Now the goal of this deck is of course to go into your cards in the first turn and then pull up a winder in your opponent's turn so they can't special summon. As you can see, the opponent scooped fairly quickly in the first game and we went straight to game 2, giving us a 1-0 lead. Now this time he used hand destruction to give me a few effects in the graveyard. I got Beast on the field and got ready for what he was able to do. He then normal summoned into his Unizombie, special summoned a Tsuchinoko from the graveyard, got his Boulder Rock out, and then made a Synchro Monster and attacked. Oh, he passed turn. I was able to clear his board, getting rid of his Boulder Rock to make a winder using Super Polymerization, going into the construct as well, except he had the magic cylinder to deal a little bit of damage there. I was really hoping I could clear the board, but in the end I was able to destroy the Synchro anyway because I had the face down Squamata using Reeshaddall Incarnation to make that destruction. The biggest issue with this deck is the fact that Boulder Rock just keeps on coming back. Every single turn. It is just such an oppressive card, negating every single thing. I was lucky enough to have the set Dynamiscus to get rid of that copy on the field, and then I was able to go into something else and get into the Trick Clown, killing his zombie with a window on the board still. I could still have a bit of fun there. He gets his Unizombie again, sends another Boulder Rock to the graveyard. I use Trick Clown's effect, pay 1,000 life points to bring it back. He uses Boulder Rock's effect from the graveyard to special summon it in his standby phase, and then I am trying to find a way to out that card but cannot do it. I probably should have gone in and attacked with Winder first, which is a bit of a misplay on my part because I really needed to clear that board out early. Then I would have been able to make the Wizard Buster play, locking out his graveyard effects. Didn't seem to be the case this time around though. I was able to go into the App Cologne, negated the effect of Zombie World, and basically this duel went on for a little bit longer. He gets a Synchro Monster on the board, he destroys my Union Carrier, passes turn, and I draw. With the Shaddoll Fusion, I can't do too much. He has the Boulder Rock back. I get to search out the Hat Tricker, you banishing damage Juggler, and I set the Shaddoll Fusion. Strangely enough, he's playing Lightning Storm. I find that quite strange, but I guess he attacks over the window. I get my Shaddoll Fusion back. He goes into Vampire Sucker. I bring back Trick Clown, go into a construct using that Shaddoll Fusion. App Cologne will give me a search and a discard. Construct will give me a send to grave. So I now have both of my fusion cards back in my hand. But once again, that Doom King Boulder Rock comes back, this time with Vampire Sucker on the field, giving him a draw, which makes it even harder to deal with. I am able to fusion from the deck, considering he does have the Vampire Sucker on the field, except he hits a Mirror Force and really, I was not expecting that. He destroys my construct. I'm able to still get a little bit of board presence by going into an Annoyatilis. He uses Cosmic Cyclone to banish my Reeshaddall Incarnation. I use a Shaddoll Core to special summon it. He has the Boulder Rock on the field, which sucks hard as well. Lightning Vortex resolves, getting rid of my face-up monsters. I try to use an Annoyatilis in the graveyard, can't do it. He goes into the Nightmare Unicorn in an attempt to spin back my face-down monster, does so, and I have no option but to scoop. He goes into Cosmic Cyclone here, destroys my Twin Twister, which is the only way I can keep Zombie World off the field. Finding that normal zombie straight up with that Shiranui Solitaire gives him a really good first turn. He was able to get Thunderbird into the graveyard, allowing him to pop my Necro Fusion, and I don't have a lot of options. He's getting a huge amount of advantage here. Going in for heaps, I'm able to get my spell card. I have a monster in hand. I have 3,900 attack points left, and I have really no options except to scoop there. Round 2. This must have been Zombie Day, because boy oh boy did we hit another zombie deck. This time the Mayakashis. Now this is quite a long first turn. I'm going to let you sit back and enjoy the way this deck plays. He seems to be going through quite a lot of his extra deck, but actually isn't really getting too far at all. I feel like I've got the Super Poly in hand, so whatever he's actually able to summon first time around, the Super Poly might be able to take care of it. Let's just see how that turns out though. He gets that Golden Lord summoned straight away with 2 set back row, and of course using his resources from the deck by banishing the trap cards in his graveyard. I Super Poly using his Golden Lord to get out an El Shaddoll construct, sending off a few different chain links here. He's able to get another Golden Lord on the field using the Sanguine. I'm Shaddoll Fusioning from my deck again. Another construct coming out, chaining the Trick Clown. However, he uses the level 2 Tuner's effect to actually stop me from special summoning certain cards, and made it a little bit difficult to progress my plays any further. I was in fact able to try and destroy his Golden Lord by battle, but that didn't quite go to plan. By destroying his Mayakashi Link monster, he is in fact able to bring back one of his level 11 Synchros. I attack it with the 3rd and final El Shaddoll construct, leaving me none in my extra deck. I've used 3 extra deck monsters and all constructs so far, so if he's able to clear these, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. He Foolish Burials the Necro Banshee to get a Zombie World on the field. I'm not sure at this point what those back rows are, but I do know that I am able to try and push a little bit harder here. He scoops because he knows the Shaddoll constructs are going to simply destroy the Golden Lord and give me all of that advantage. He chooses to go first here, starts off with the Cursed Eldland, and is able to use the effect to pay 800 life points and do what he needs to do. He's got a Golden Lord on the field already. He's able to get the Mayakashi card out that searches, and he's able to then go into his tuner and all of those synchro plays, going up 1 level at a time into the big, I believe, level 11 monster. This is why I really think this deck needs something like Nibiru. If I had Nibiru, I would be totally able to slow this line of play down. However, at the moment, I am at the mercy of whatever he wants to do. I try using Twin Twister first, knowing that he's probably going to be able to chain whatever he wants. He goes straight into that level 1. I find out that I can't summon monsters from my extra deck, and I scoop it up, handing it over to him. Not much going on in that first turn there. I have to set a Trick Clown to basically protect me and set 2, I'm able to solemn strike his Golden Lord effect to leave it in the graveyard so he can't special summon it. But I have a feeling that that wasn't going to be all he could do. He does set 1 and pass. I try and swing into his set card, but I take 300 damage. I have a Super Poly in hand, but not a single Shaddoll monster that is going to help me out at all. He's got a Doom King Boulder Rock on the field. It is boosted to, I believe, 3800, and I am in a little bit of trouble here. I take the 1000 to try and protect myself off of Trick Clown. He doesn't have an extra deck monster on the field, so the Shaddoll Fusion is basically useless. I can just special summon Hat Tricker and not do much else at this stage. He banishes a card by negating his own monster effect and simply goes into his Synchro plays once again, leaving me not much option but to just watch what he's able to produce. I've got 3,000 life points left at this stage, and I know that the end is coming soon. He goes into his Mayakashi Link monster. I pay the 1,000 with damage with Trick Clown, and I know it's over, so I simply special summon it in attack position to make the blows less lethal. Game 3. You will find out that it is against Sky Striker. All 3 of these games I was not expecting this week. But I do get the first turn, Shaddoll Window on the field, knowing that I'm able to then slow down his special summoning. He sets 2, passes it back to me. I normal summon a Trick Clown, and I just try and swing in for some damage. He's got 4,200 left. Once again, going in, he attaches one of his, I don't know the name of that Sky Striker card. He goes in and stops it, so I cannot actually swing directly with El Shaddoll Window. I do set a Beast, tribute set the Beast, and bring back the Trick Clown to give me a little bit more board presence. He goes into his raid, destroys the raid, I destroys the Trick Clown, I bring back the Trick Clown, paying 1,000 life points. He tags into Hayate and attacks directly, sending his, I think it's Eagle Booster, I don't know if that's Eagle Booster or not, to the graveyard, brings it back, and he is then going to destroy my window. Will not get its effect to bring back a card because I only have the Super Poly in the graveyard. I try and draw 2 off of Beast, but all he does is uses Effect Veiler's effect, but I'm able to use Reeshaddall Incarnation to flip it back face down. I banish a couple of his graveyard cards using Ariel, knowing that he needs spell cards in the graveyard to do anything vital, so I've basically turned off all of his graveyard effects. I special summon Chaos Dragon Levianeer with 2 darks and a light, and go in for some destruction. I think I'm sitting in an okay position here, except he goes into a Hayate, and I believe he's simply going to start attacking me. He gets rid of my back row and my Levianeer, attacks directly with Hayate, sends a card to the graveyard, goes into Kugari, brings back that stupid card that destroys my board, and goes into the Shizuku, searches the Widow Anchor, and passes turn to me. I try and get my draw too, but he imperms my Beast. I have to use the El Shaddoll Fusion to get the draws, but drawing nothing significant. I don't get to keep my window on the field, but I do get to search the El Shaddoll Fusion back. I have no monsters in hand, so the El Shaddoll Fusion is a little bit useless at the moment. He goes into a Kagari using Area 0 first, so he can get the raid on the field. This is where I know I'm in a little bit of pain here, because he goes into the Shizuku and searches the multi-roll. When they see the multi-roll this late, it's basically over. I drew no monster cards next turn, so it was best off to scoop and let the second game begin. Once again, a pretty crappy start. I really had no options here. He Cosmic Cyclone straight up my Reeshaddall Incarnation. He used enemy controller on my set monster, which was an Ariel. I had no banished Shaddoll monsters, so basically that flip effect would have been pointless anyway. He goes straight into a Nightmare Phoenix, destroys the leftover back row, and then I do nothing but set 2 and pass it back to him. He Pots of Desires, banishes his Chem, finds the Ray, and he's able to then go into the Unicorn, where I quickly use my set Super Poly to go into a window, meaning he can only special summon once this turn. I cannot attack directly because I think it's the Hercules base is actually attached to my window. So I now have to attack for 1600 with a Zephyros the Elite and hope this will get me through. Attacking again for 1600. He Cosmic Cyclones my back row, which is no big deal because he's just cost himself another 1000 life points. Gives me 1000 with the Upstart Goblin. He hasn't got a monster in hand. I normal summon the Performage Damage Juggler and I swing for game. Game 3. This was a pretty rad game, so let's just watch it and enjoy it. I'm able to go into the first turn. I just normal summon Zephyros the Elite and pass the turn. I'm not sure what he's able to do here, so I just want to know what he's packing. I thought Damage Juggler would actually stop Hayate's effect, but I read Hayate wrong. All it needs to do is attack. Even though I didn't take any damage, it still gets the effect, which is pretty shitty if you ask me. So I've still got the Zephyros the Elite on the field. I normal summon the Performage Hat Tricker, trying to save some of my resources because I know the Sky Striker resource game is really strong. Once again, I try and use Beast's effect to draw a card after it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, but he seems to always have the Ash Blossom. To get that spell in the graveyard, all he did was had to target Winder. We know Winder can't be destroyed by card effects, but he simply wants spells in his graveyard. He gets the Widow Anchor off of Kigari, the Shark Cannon to get my Beast out of my graveyard, going into a Sky Striker Ace Zeke, I believe, leaving me no monsters on the field, swinging in for 2500, going into the Shizuku, using the Hercules base, searching with Shizuku to get a Area 0. I've got one card in hand, I set one in my turn, he destroys it straight up, and I
The next day.
Well, I don't think that was the episode 10 that anyone, including myself, was expecting. I really thought that with the new additions to the deck, we were actually going to have more of an impact than we did in the 3 rounds. It just goes to show, like I've been saying throughout this whole online sealed only series, that playing online is a little bit difficult. Let's talk about this week's opening. We were able to add a couple of cards to the deck that we needed. The Hat Tricker and the extra damage Juggler did come in clutch this week, as you would have seen. Being able to negate any damage effects or any battle damage that we took came in handy, and of course Hat Tricker's special summon from hand ability is actually a really good effect to help us get some more field presence when there's a field full of monsters. We do still need to pick up that Anaconda though. I do know it is going to make the largest impact on the deck, and I'm sure that in the future you will understand when you do see it just how impactful that card is going to be. We are going to try and push for that Trapeze Magician as well. We do need some additional rank 4 options. We are still running the Emerald, and maybe next week I do need to change the deck up and maybe use Dingirsu to try and get a couple of level 8s on the field and then give me a little bit of removal as well. Let's talk about this week's duels. Like I said in the voiceover, guys, I wasn't expecting so much zombie. We know Eldritch are a big deck there, but it's usually the Synchro combo version. I haven't really played a zombie deck in a while, and I guess besides Winder being able to stop special summoning, I wasn't really sure on how to combat the deck itself. That Doom King Boulder Rock, how do you stop that thing? I was able to use Dynamiscus to get rid of it, and of course I was able to destroy it turn after turn, but it just keeps coming back in the standby phase. Somewhat unfair, I think, at times, but I need to be able to find a way to remove that. I need to find some monster removal, maybe by way of Raigeki or something along those lines. Round 2 was up against Eldritch Mayakashi. As you saw, I don't know too much about the Mayakashi deck, but we weren't able to interrupt those synchro combo plays. That's what's got me thinking that maybe we do need to start looking at some Megatins for those Nibiru's and the Dark Ruler no mores. I think it's time, and I really do think in the future we do need to push forward for that. And the final round was against Sky Striker. As you know, it's definitely making a comeback in the meta of late with, is it Ryan Yu's victory a couple of weeks back. I'm sure that deck will still see play a little bit, and we pushed really hard against it, but it just had the resources that it needed to get over us every single time. Winder helped us out a little bit, but as soon as Winder's effect is negated, they can just basically go off, recur a heap of resources, find their way to multi-roll, Widow Anchor, or any of those utility cards that make the deck so good. It really makes it hard to come back from there. You would have seen at the end of the clip with the duels in it that we are now sitting at about a 42% win ratio. I know we can pull it back from there. I really hope in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to bring it back up to 50%, if not go higher, once we get some real life dueling action going on. With that being said, that's where I want to end today's episode. I want to thank you so much if you stuck around this far. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button to get those notifications about every episode when it is uploaded. Of course, check out some of my other stuff, share the video with a friend and tell them to go back to episode 1 and see how the deck's been evolving. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm James at Duels Down Under, and I'll see you in the next episode.